Hey, Amie,
Yeah, Juan.
give me that beat.
It's Baseball Shangri-La with Amie Cuevas and Juan Ramirez.
What's up, party people? She is Amie Cuevas. I am Juan Ramirez. You are listening or watching Baseball Shangri-La. If you are listening to us on the audio portion of the show, please make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. Rate us, write us a review, help spread the word about the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification button. Give us a thumbs up. Leave us your comments. We love engaging with you. And most importantly, make sure you're following us on social media on X at BB Shangri-La, on Instagram, YouTube, and Bluesky at Baseball Shangri-La. Amie, ¿cómo estás?
Hi. It's the
Hi.
break. Have you been doing break things over the last couple days?
I don't know. I mean, we're going to get into it when we talk about the home run derby and the All-Star break. I just got back from Chicago, and boy, are my arms tired. I went to Wrigley Field. We went to go see, for those of you that are familiar with the comic John Mulaney. John Mulaney did a show at Wrigley Field and sold it out.
Isn't
And
he one of the ones who he has a skit about playing like songs on the jukebox like over and over and over again?
I don't know. My wife is the one who is the super John Mulaney fan. We've seen him a couple of times actually perform, but she had never been to Chicago, so it was an opportunity for me to take her to Chicago, and it was her first time at Wrigley Field. And her first reaction as we got in front of Wrigley Field was like, "It's so small.
It's tiny. It's tiny but cute."
Yeah, she's, I guess, used to Dodger Stadium and Petco and stuff like. I mean, mind you, my wife has not been to that many stadiums. She is not a stadium chaser like I am. I have 19 stadiums down, 11 more to go to complete my set. It's been a while since I've hit a new stadium. Shouts out to my compadre, who I believe is 2 away from doing all 30 stadiums.
That's amazing.
So, yes.
And I did just check. It was a skit, not a skit, but he has a set on playing What's New Pussycat. So if you guys ever want to check, it's on YouTube, I'm sure. It's pretty funny. Also just kind of messed up.
All right then. So we got a lot to get into, so let's do this. And a pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. Amie, I know we're at the All-Star break, so we can go ahead and look back at the first half of the Dodgers season, even though the Dodgers have played more than half of their season. But I know you want to talk about that Rockies series, and do we have to talk about the series with the Serpientes? Because what I hear from a lot of people is that the Dodgers started their All-Star break early, but you were there. You were there for that series. So let's start with the Rockies of Colorado. What did you see about what did you see in that series against the Picapiedras?
It's so funny because you just mentioned the Diamondback series and like just the amount of like, what is it, chicken littling from them losing 3 games. I was gonna say chicken littling, but I mean, much like your wings are tired, I have been to 7 games in 10 days, so I'm coming off some baseball. I think
let's start with the Picapiedras, because I agree with you. That Serpientes series, it was bitch. How many bitches is that? A lot.
It's enough to get us to put the explicit rating on our show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I will be marking that box when I
shouldn't have done
later.
that. Oh man, that's
well,
it.
We'll start where we left off last week, and that was we did have a 91 game streak of no extra innings, and then that Monday game went into 11 innings, and it was just like, all right, well, we finally checked that box, I guess. So
it's bound to happen.
It was bound to happen. I think it's going to be a common theme across the games that we're going to talk about. While many were low scoring, Shohei's bat has come alive, at least home run wise. So like that was one of the games he homered in, at least that Monday game. And then you did see a little bit of small ball, which I was excited about for these guys. I mean, we could have scored some more runs, but Shohei hit his 300th career home run during that series. Yay! Are you not excited?
And to put things into perspective, Mookie just hit his 300th home run just a while, not too long ago. And the Unicorn hit his 300th home run. For those of you who are not good at math, Mookie has been playing a lot longer. Maybe it's not a lot longer, but has been playing longer than the Unicorn. So while I think that's an amazing achievement for Mookie to hit 300 home runs, it just shows you like the Unicorn, if he stays healthy, he still has 8 more years on his contract. And he's already at 300. How many home runs can the Unicorn get to?
Yeah. I will say this has nothing to do with the game, but we did get some bookends in this series. So we got Freddie Freeman at the front end of the Colorado series, and then we got, where is it? Kike had his little bobblehead on Sunday. So I know you don't care about toys, but some people do.
Yeah, I'm not there for the toys.
Come on, smile! Aren't you excited?
Well, okay. Answer one thing for me. That Federico one, it's bigger than normal, right?
I mean, I don't know if it's bigger than normal. Sometimes it's the box that's bigger. Like the guys are the same size. It's the pose that they're in, and some, like, you can see his arms are outspread. So for any of you who are listening, Freddie's got his arms up. This is after the 18-inning game during the World Series, and then Kike's got his pitching helmet on, and he's got his hand in his glove in front of him. So his body in the bobblehead is going to be a little bit smaller. So
are my eyes playing tricks on me? But I thought I saw a video. Earlier in the week with
they were giving away 3-foot bobbleheads of both the Freddie Freeman and the Kike. They started this with the Shaq bobblehead. So if you did any of the stadium games, like if you got pulled out of the crowd and they, did one of the games on the Dodger Vision, then at that point you had the opportunity to win a 3-foot bobblehead as well. So you saw
those were limited edition then.
Yes, 100%. Those were, people won them. Freddie Freeman got one. You saw him kind of holding it, smiling. Kike got one. So you saw him posing with it on the field. I think they had like the bigger, biggest. And so, yeah. So we did not get those. Only if you were like one of the lucky few.
So for those of you who are interested, Mookie this is his 13th year in Major League Baseball. And this is the Unicorn's 9th year.
For those of you who are playing along, that was a non sequitur back to the previous topic.
That's right. So Mookie had a 4-year head start, and they're even in home runs, which is very impressive. But Amie, I think you buried the lead. Many times on this show, we pull I guess Back to the Future is not correct, but
do we need a Wayne's World?
We have the ability to predict the future because every time we talk about a topic on this show, funny thing is, the minute we go off the air, all of a sudden this topic becomes an issue.
Which topic is it now?
You did this with Dalton Rushing.
I did not. It was just a trending topic we were discussing.
No, you were ahead of the curve on this.
Okay.
It really blew up after you brought it up, but we spent a lot of time last week talking about the Unicorn, and you chicken littled me. You're just like, again, I don't understand how you watch baseball and all that stuff. And we were just talking out loud, right? Just talking. And then sure enough, we see him not only miss a start, they skipped him. Not only that, but he didn't play in the All-Star game, and we'll get into that.
So we're jumping out of the Rockies now.
Well,
okay.
No.
I don't have much more to say on the Rockies series, so that's fine. But we're jumping to Friday night. Let's jump to Friday night.
I just want to, because I think this is a hot topic. So not only did we skip that, but he skipped a start against the Serpientes. He didn't play in the All-Star game. He didn't participate in anything, but he also had a procedure to have his knee drained.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some people are downplaying it, but Amie,
where I'm going to fall on this. So go.
I know. I just want to hear you say it, because I'm not saying that there's a there, but I think there is just I think there's a question mark in terms of how healthy. Now again,
But
I've never
we've already discussed that he is getting older and the wear and tear on him is hitting him this year. So like I'm not shocked. Like when they announced it, I was like, huh, okay, makes sense. I mean, he's had the knee swelling, but at the same time, that's baseball. Like he's hopefully going to go down, come back up, right, bounce right back. Maybe the All-Star break is all he needs just to have it drained, and you know, baseball will resume. He hit home runs with it swollen. So
that is true. What I find
thank you for that concession.
what I find interesting is but he didn't pitch, right?
Okay.
So it is one of those
It's his
things,
landing foot
right?
though, so
So
that's why he's not pitching.
because we don't know what you hope that draining this knee is going to help it, it's going to alleviate it, but I am curious, and we won't know this, we got to watch this space, but we are going to look and see in terms of the second half of this season, does this mean the Doyers are going to be like, okay, so it doesn't bother you when you can hit, it only bothers you with your pitching, maybe the best thing for the team is maybe we don't have you pitch. I know that people love to hate this man, and I'm not putting this on him. There's a new sports talk radio station in Los Angeles, 97.1, and the show called DMAC and Ryder asked Dylan Hernandez this question in terms of, is Shohei selfish for trying to pursue the Cy Young or making these efforts of trying to pitch and hit?
And this is and you guys call women emotional. Jehoshaphat. Like, okay.
Like, I understand that question, but to go as far as to say that Shohei is selfish for doing that, I don't know if I would phrase it in that way, but I do think it's going to be interesting in the second half of the season if his knee doesn't react well to the draining, if his knee continues to give him a hard time. What will Shohei do? Will Shohei be the one that goes to the Doyers and says, hey, you know what? The best way for me to help the team right now is just to hit. It's not working, and who knows when that's going to happen, but I'm curious if those conversations are happening behind closed doors, therefore informing the Doyers maybe what they're going to do at the trade deadline. I know you don't like any of this. I know you don't like any of
this speculation. It just makes me giggle because I'm like, you guys are borrowing trouble. Like when I see people having these conversations, and I'm not saying that they're not worthwhile, if that's how you enjoy baseball, but it just feels like it's like, oh my god, what are they gonna do? Like, they're gonna do whatever they do. They're the Dodgers. Like, whatever. He's gonna try to get back. He has a level of excellence that he aspires to. So, the guy had a swollen knee and he's still continuing to hit. Like, he knows his body better than anyone. And then they're there to put guardrails on him. And so while they might be at odds with he wants to do more, they want him to do less, somehow they tend to like find their way to the middle ground, and we'll see what happens. And if he does not end up pitching, this falls under my category of like, what are you going to do about it? Okay, so they're going to figure it out. For all the people who are like, we have a 14 game lead, baseball is going to be boring now. Like, nope, this is why you have a 14 game lead and you just enjoy baseball. This also goes to the D-back series, but I was watching the Mookie Muncy podcast, that one that we were talking about last week. So I got to watch it in its entirety. And I really love it because it's more of the conversations, the humanity, the stuff that I love about the game. So it's not super stat driven unless they're like trying to make the perfect team or do something like that. But they had said, every day is a new day. You don't carry it over. And what are we doing to win this game? And that's kind of how I look at the game. So it's not that I'm not thinking about like, oh gosh, I hope Shohei's okay. I hope this doesn't impact the rest of the season. But I'm kind of taking it a day at a time, a game at a time. So
you do not feel victim to the moment, is what you're saying, Amie.
No, I mean, there are things that I'm concerned about, but I think because, and we've talked about this before, because baseball is a metaphor for life to me, there's going to be the good and the bad. You can't have it perfect. It's that whole, this too shall pass, and that applies to good things in your life. They go by pretty quick. So do sometimes the bad things. Sometimes they're over quickly. Sometimes they languish a little while, and you just try to enjoy the good moments. And that's how I look at baseball. My life is crazy right now, and baseball is the one thing that I look forward to. So I don't want to bring in anything that's going to bring me down in the one thing that I enjoy. So I just look at it differently. It's not bad. It's not wrong. We just baseball differently.
So this knee has been bothering the unicorn for a while now. And remember the slow start that he had? And everybody's just like, well, the unicorn is human. So let's look at his numbers now. He leads the Doyers in average, hitting 293. He leads the Doyers in home runs, hitting 220, has 22 home runs.
This almost sounds like oh my gosh, the Dodgers, and then they're leading the league.
And he is second on the team in RBIs with 58.
Wow. So how worried are you still?
He basically spotted everyone on the team a chance and said, hey, I'm going to give you like a couple of months. You guys do put up your numbers. And then basically by the All-Star break, he has caught them or passed them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think there's enough adjectives to go ahead and describe this guy. But slowly and surely, Amie, you look at the numbers and maybe it's not what we've seen the first 2 seasons that he was with the Dodgers. And it's a reminder of how special those first 2 seasons were when he was with the Dodgers. But these are still numbers that anyone would love and beg to have. And this is with a guy who technically probably only is doing it on one good wheel. I mean, look, you give me credit.
Some might even say he's shamazing. Like shamazing. I use that word often, but now I realize it also works double duty with Shohei. So blend of 2 good things. But everything that you just said, that's what I focus on. Like everything, great job being positive. 10 points to you. I'm giving you points. Add it up on your tally. That's what I look at when I look at baseball. That's what I'm focused on.
Before we leave that Pica Piedra series, I just want to say this. I don't know if the Pica Piedras have gotten better in terms of being more competitive. There were some stats in that series that were a little eye-opening, like how that team almost turns into a different team late in innings. It seems like the offense has not really been an issue for the Pica Piedras. It's their pitching that has been the issue. Look, they've been bad for so long. I actually welcome them being competitive and actually doing, those were 3 1-run games. The Doyers ended up taking 2 out of 3.
That Tuesday game, we could have easily taken if the offense was able to kind of fire a little bit better. Like we even had that, what I thought might have turned into something in the bottom of the 9th. You saw Alex Freeland single. He stole a base. Miguel Rojas walked. And then unfortunately, the next couple people either, popped out, flew out or struck out. But like they had a chance. So, going into that, they did what they were supposed to do. They won the series. They took 2 out of 3, and things were like, okay, let's going into the weekend. They had a chance to, at that moment, the team that now was in second place chasing them, the Serpientes, they had a chance to put a little more distance between them. Now, when you have a double-digit lead, that already seems like big enough. But oh God, I'm not even going to say that out loud. I was going to say it's
you already said it. You already said it on the last episode.
No, because if I say it right now, somebody's going to clip it. But you should, gosh darn it, there's like no good way to say this without double entendreing myself. You should, I'm just going to go. There's like 4 ways I could say this right now, and they're all going to come back to bite me. So just continue.
Look, I'm gonna rely on your positivity, because for me, that Serpientes series, it was not pretty. We had
a rough go. There were 6 errors, which was I think a season high for us. We had a couple balks. There was some wild pitches in there. Some of the pitchers were they were on the bad end of some runs that scored, but at least they weren't earned runs against them. There were some rough moments, but again, I think because they have a big lead and we're going into the All-Star break, and again, these guys are tired. Like everybody kind of needs this time to resettle. Like I'm tired from going to as many games as I did, and I'm not playing in them. And so like what they do is superhuman on a day-to-day basis. Because as we've talked about before, it's not just the 2.5, 3 hour game. It's the 5 or so hours we get there beforehand. It's the 2 or 3 hours afterwards. And then you go to sleep, try to get some family time in if you can, unless your kids are already in bed. And then you wake up and you do it all over again. That is a grinding lifestyle. I don't care that they make all this money. Not everybody is making star quality money. There are people making the league minimum, and it's a grind. That's a lot of days in a row with minimal days off to keep going and then have a perfect record. And they're still leading the league. So it's like, okay, what does everybody want from these guys?
I do agree with you that they look tired. It was sloppy. The defense is the biggest thing that really stood out to me, because up until that series, they were a very good defensive team. They were up there. But like Max Muncy had a very rough series at third base. Andy Pages dropped the ball, and he's been so good defensively that in terms of them looking tired, you know what else they look like? They looked mentally tired. I know you were there that weekend, so I'm wondering if you noticed it. It seemed like it felt like they needed a break.
I mean, they're never going to make excuses. You know that. You've been in the clubhouse before. We've talked to them. The thing that I did notice too that's a contributing factor. It was really hot, and not only was it really hot, it was super humid. So under those conditions, and again, I know they're professionals, but that's still rough to play in day after day. Like, it was so hot, the humidity, it ended up sprinkling.
How hot was it?
Super hot. It was like mid 80s. I think we were like one of the games it started, I think it was like 81 at the time of the start. Another might have been like 84. It was rough with the humidity added in. It was like, just the air was super thick. So
look, you want to talk about humidity? I'll tell you about humidity. Try landing in Chicago, and the flight attendant tells you, "Welcome to Chicago, where the temperature currently is 69 degrees with 88% humidity."
So did your hair like just curl?
This was 8:00 in the morning. 8:00 in the morning.
We had like 80% humidity this weekend. That's what I mean. Like, it was not your normal weather that we usually have. Like, a lot of times, like, I'm in Long Beach, I expect to have high humidity.
Playa Larga.
Thank you for the shout out. But like, I don't expect it so much in LA proper. So I think that was also a big contributor too.
Look, I can totally justify what happened on Friday, because that was
can you?
Yeah, because that was the start that the unicorn.
Thank goodness.
The unicorn was supposed to make that start. Last minute scratch. They go to a bullpen game.
It's the thing that you hate.
Exactly.
Anybody having a bad day, it might have that ripple effect. And you had, let's see, 7 pitchers in that game.
Yeah, so I can totally see what happened on Friday. Saturday,
and you had back-to-back homers to start off the game. Shohei and Andy Pages knocked them right out of the park.
Yeah, and Saturday was a little different because Yamamoto was pitching, and so I thought, oh, you know what, Yamamoto will go ahead and shut down. And he had a not typical Yamamoto start for that game. And then Sunday they had the lead for the majority of the game, and then the wheels came off.
And that was their first lead during the whole series too. That was like a big moment. Like, oh my gosh, they scored first.
Yeah, and so the other thing was that when I sit there, they are the last team now to have gotten swept in Major League Baseball. Up until that point, they had not been swept. So there were a couple of records that went down this week.
Which is funny because I heard that, I think, a couple games before while I was out and about listening to the radio, and somebody had mentioned that they had never been swept before. And I was like, gosh, darn it. Here we go. And then sure enough, we go into the weekend series, and I was like, son of a gun. They said it, and now look what happened. So I blame that on a radio jinx.
Yeah, so for me, they look tired. They look mentally tired, which I think maybe can explain why the defense was bad, why there were the mental errors. And then the other thing, Amie, that I have to sit there and wonder is, are they healthy? Like, how many are dealing with nagging injuries as we're getting past the halfway mark in this very, very long season. So it was a forgettable. Now, remember, I'm old enough to remember last year where didn't they get swept by the Angelitos before they went into the
Yeah.
All-Star break? So maybe
I don't
it's
know
just
if
a
it was that
tradition.
one, but they did get swept by them last year. So
Maybe it's just a tradition where they just look really, really bad before the All-Star break, and then they'll go back to their regularly scheduled program once they come back from it. Because let me tell you, when they come back from their All-Star break, they get the Phillies of Philadelphia, then they got to go to the Yankees.
no, they
And
got Yankees
no, they
first,
go to the Yankees
then
first, you're right,
Phillies, and then Mets. So they're
and then
like
back to
ping
New York.
ponging. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to see them lose, but I think in the grand scheme of things, like as we all know, other teams play up to them. So like they were close scoring games, and in most of them we had a lot of relief pitchers going in those games. So like there's a lot of variables going on. There was overuse just because we taxed the bullpen to begin with on Friday. That wasn't a planned start. Like you were supposed to have Shohei. Hopefully he gives you 6 innings, and then you have to maybe dig into your bullpen, but you're not using it so that you have 7 pitchers going on Friday, and then you still have to make it through the rest of the series. Like I think that game with Yamamoto, Landon Knack ended up coming in and they made him wear it. Like they weren't going to bring anybody else in. So whatever happened, for better or for worse, he was going to pretty much be in that game no matter what. So, I mean, is it the desired outcome that we want? No, but it's not like they got blown out every single game. You like the lower scoring game, so I figured
well,
maybe
Friday
it
and
was a nail biter for you.
Saturday they got blown out. Those were 9-3, 9-2
Well, yeah,
games.
yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking of some of the games from the Colorado series
Yeah,
too. Sorry, I'm carrying over.
The Pica Piedra series, they were competitive in that series, and like I said, they looked like a different team. And I know you bring this up, and I don't like to go into it, but
But here we go.
I mean, that series with the Serpientes meant more to the Serpientes than it did to the Doyers, because this was important for the Serpientes. Now, look, they had a 14-game lead at the All-Star break. Now they have an 11.5-game lead. It's still a double-digit lead. So technically, yeah, of course, the Serpientes are still in the running for the division, but it was a more important series for the Serpientes just in terms of the standings for the wild card, for them to stay close, in the wild card. At this time, right now they're 2.5 games out of that last wild card spot. If they go in there losing 2 out of 3 to the Doyers, or they get swept by the Doyers, it's really hurting their wild card chances. So you had a team that was motivated to still do something, while you had maybe another team that was looking forward to having a week off.
I feel like you buried the lead. Like we got a scoop on some good news in this series. Maybe it wasn't that we won it, but we heard that we might be getting a player back a little bit sooner than we planned.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go with your scoop.
So that Kike bobblehead day, that's and they just announced a second one. So for anybody who loved the catch moment during which series was that game? That was game 7.
Yeah.
That will be a bobblehead on September 6th. So get your tickets for that now. But I got to ask Dave Roberts kind of how Kike was progressing, and he said that he didn't realize that he wasn't actually on the 60-day IL. So that's what we've been waiting for, because all of the Kike updates have been great as far as his progress. So he may be coming back even sooner.
And everyone rejoice, ladies and gentlemen. That goes out. That update was specifically for the Kike fan club. So
That's right. So hey, we need some of that new crisp defense out there. So hopefully his oblique is feeling better, and we're just bolstering the team even more. So that to me is excellent news.
That's right. So we're at the All-Star break. Looking back at it, the Doyers are in first place. They still have the best record in the National League after getting swept by the Serpientes.
So you mean I don't have to bring out my world's smallest violin for everybody?
No, you do not.
Okay. You guys are going to survive?
In terms of batting average, they're second in the league. In terms of runs scored, they're third in the league. In terms of ERA, they're third in the league. and they are first in WHIP. So, Amy, looking back at that first half, what are your takeaways? Like, what do you think about that Doyers first half of the 2026 season?
I feel like they're grinding it out. Like they're doing a pretty good job considering we all know that they are not at full health, none of them. So like even whether they're all fully healthy or not, they're still trying to find their stride. If they can get everything firing on all cylinders, which is what obviously the hope is, imagine how much stronger they could come back in the second half of the season. So I mean, like you said, he's leading a lot of the stats for the team. You've got a lot of good things going on, with the exception of this last series. I think they're out there doing what you would expect them to do, and a lot of people will not give them credit for that because it's like, well, they have one of the highest payrolls in baseball. They should be doing that. Just because you should be doing something, it's hard to achieve those numbers on the back of your card. Everybody wants to see that happen, but it doesn't mean that it plays out the way that we would all like. So I think they're trucking along. They're doing a great job.
For me, the biggest takeaway from that first half is depth. Once again, they prove how important depth is to a to a regular season in
Mhm.
Major League Baseball. Talk to the show pods. Talk to the show pods and ask them about injuries. And once again, the Doyers have their fair share of injuries, but they have survived to not only have the best record in Major League Baseball, but position themselves in a really good place for the second half of the season and building towards the playoffs. Now, I know a lot of people will sit here and now argue that, oh, it's because of money that they have this depth. And it's like, look, guys, look at this team. You have Andy Pages, who was drafted and developed
Mhm.
by the Doyers. Max Muncy is a guy who was released by a former team that the Doyers picked
Miguel
up on.
Rojas.
For the most part, at second base, you had a minor leaguer, Alex Freeland, playing there because it just. And by the way, Tommy Friedman. Tommy Friedman. Oh my God!
You caught yourself. You're good.
Exactly. Tommy Edman, after returning from the IL, has looked really good, really impressive, to the point where please stay healthy. Please stay healthy, man. I'd like to see a healthy Tommy Edman for the rest of the season and going into the playoffs. And then they have a guy behind the plate who's a rookie, basically. So the Doyers have had injuries, plus their big free agent acquisition has been underperforming. So a lot of this depth that the Dodgers have been surviving on has been from their minor leagues. So for those people who want to use the argument of, well, they have money so they can use that money to get depth, they're doing it with minor leaguers. That's how they are surviving their injuries.
They have
So
one of the best farm systems, and that contributes to a lot of what they're doing and what they have done in the past. And I think you've said it before, we've talked about this, but I think we get so caught up in that regional like mindset that we forget other teams are dealing with injuries too. So unless you're paying attention to what's going on around the league, there's a lot of other teams that are hemorrhaging players. I feel like we're managing it better for the reasons that you just stated, but it's not like it's just a Dodgers issue. This is what happens every year in baseball.
So I was in Chicago this past weekend. So I was talking to I have friends that are both Cubs fans and they're White Sox fans. And so one of them, Big Sexy, likes to sit there and tells me, you guys throw money at everything. You throw money at the problem. And, I replied back to him and I was just like, again, man, if you, I understand that, but if you don't watch the games every day, their best pitch, the guy, well, he's not their best pitcher, but you know who leads the teams and wins in terms of pitching is a guy by the name of Bluesky.
Mhm.
Who had him on their bingo card? Like they're getting contributions from people that you just don't normally expect, and that's a tribute to their front office, man. Their front office. Now, he will, Big Sexy did argue back. He's like, yeah, because you guys have money to invest in a farm system. And I'm just like, that's a point I can't argue. You might have to sit there and look at other teams and maybe ask them, hey, why aren't you guys investing in your farm system? But
Ask
I know
the
this.
ask the Angels that. That's been a hot topic for some people lately. Is just the lack of farm system or bringing people up too soon, and then you see like maybe they're not ready to be out there. They can't handle some of the stuff, and not that's not a dig on the players. It's did you develop them enough before you brought them up?
I know I do upset my Chicagoans when I'm having this conversation because I bring up Milwaukee. And I was just like, look at Milwaukee. Milwaukee doesn't have a high payroll, and they're playing young guys. And look where they are in the standings. And this is another year where they're being competitive. So it's
I,
not just all money. I know it doesn't hurt to have money, but you kind of have to give credit where credit is due with this Doyers front office in terms of player
or
development.
they don't have to.
That's
They're
true.
entitled to their opinion. But also I think that goes to, like you said, the front office, that it goes again to the coaches and the training staff and Dave Roberts as a manager. Those things are more important than I think a lot of people give credit to it. And when you have all of those things coming together at the same time, and yes, money is a nice factor to have, but those other pieces are necessary too. Otherwise you see it kind of fall apart.
Absolutely. Let's segue into the home run derby and into the All-Star game. Amie, you know my feelings on the home run derby.
You love it, and you watched every minute, and you were taking notes like I was.
This was the first time that I can remember, Amie, where I actually enjoyed the home run derby more than the All-Star game itself.
Be still, my baseball heart. Did you just say what I think you said?
Exactly. And look, I know that people will argue with me and say, "Well, Juan, the ending of the home run derby was exciting."
No, I think it was the buildup throughout.
So let's talk about the home run derby. I know from some of the people that I was around, they did not like losing the clock. What did you think about not having the clock and relying on the number of swings?
Okay, so at first I thought that was going to be the one detriment. Like I didn't know how I was going to feel about it. But when you saw like the strategy behind it, especially like, you know what, if I don't like that pitch, I don't have to take it. Like you still got a good chunk of time watching these guys hit, but I felt like it wasn't rushed. In years past, it's like they jack a homer and then it's like, "Oh my gosh." And then you're looking at the next one and there's so much going on, and as we know, the announcers are not the normal announcers that we would get. So as these guys this year, last year, years past, it's not the same caliber baseball commentating that we get. So when you have people who are oohing and awing about something that maybe they don't normally cover, it kind of detracts from that. So now you've got a sped up game, these guys saying stuff. It's really hard to follow. And I felt like this year we got to really enjoy, like, wow, that was a beautiful swing. Look at where that one landed. Like I really loved it. I think it gave us more time to actually enjoy and appreciate what each of them were doing.
Did you have a problem with Netflix's coverage?
Yep, sure did.
All right, I want to hear. Give me your grievances.
They're not really grievances. They don't do it the way I like it. I didn't. In years past, we've gotten to see the players walk away. Obviously, they got rid of like the timeouts where you would see them kind of commiserate with people, get their Gatorade. So that's gone. But after they walked off, after their turn, you would still see the camera on them. This year they went to commercial, and it's like, I don't want to see the Geico gecko. I don't want to see this tiny little thumbnail of these guys celebrating, and I don't know what's going on. So to me, that really took away from it, because while watching the swings and being in the batter's box was important, I want to see the commiseration afterwards. I want to see the celebrating with their team. So that was.
I know some people had issues with the camera view being right behind the pitcher as opposed to the traditional center field camera. Did you have an issue with that?
Honestly, I didn't even think about it, because it was nice to see them like take their shot and then the camera would follow. I did like, for me, and maybe nobody else noticed or cared, I didn't like that the drone kept getting in their shots. So like they would pan out and then you'd see the drone like take off, and it was like, I'm trying to find the ball, like get out of my view. But again, that's my ADHD, like whatever. To me, I didn't, the camera angle didn't bother me. I know the camera guys have a job to do, but seeing them so close in some of the shots where like it was like, whoa, guys, like, one, he's getting ready to take his shot, like, back up a little bit, but also I shouldn't see you in the shot. So, but again, you don't know what direction they're getting on the field from a crew that's not used to maybe covering baseball this way.
What else did you like about the home run derby?
Like I said, I liked that it wasn't rushed. I liked when they could swing when they wanted, and I truly liked the format. They already changed it where you didn't have the brackets so much in previous years. You just let everybody hit. So to me, that was great. And then as they kind of went down, I did like some of the new rules. So you were kind of hoping that somebody would hit that last home run so that they'd get to continue swinging, and that really only happened, I think, at the end of the game. So I think the format worked, much like last year when we saw the introduction of the swing off in the All-Star game. Obviously, that wasn't necessary this year, but I liked it. Because especially as we got down to the last part and you saw Kyle Schwarber go first, and I do have a question for you on that. You're kind of hoping like, oh my gosh, Jordan Walker's getting down on some of these pitches. Oh my gosh, he only has so many left. He's going to have to hit a homer. And then he does. And then it's like, can he hit another one? And it was like, it felt like you were right there with him, like battling it out. And then he did it. And it was just like, I think it added to it. It was such a great way to end the whole thing. So.
That to me is what sold the whole event, was that final. And I attribute it to a couple of things. One, of course, you got to tip it to Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker had, by the way, the lowest odds to win, and he ended up winning.
And he did well in each of the rounds too. Like he was tied neck and neck with Wilson Contreras with 13 to kick it off in the first bracket. Then in the second one, he beat Junior Caminero. And he had 7 swings left. He didn't even need to take those, like, because he already advanced. So he was the underdog, and I feel like he really pulled it out.
I mean, first of all, that it's such a clutch performance to get to the point, and I had totally forgotten about it can't end if you hit a home run, right? So
I had my rules. Oh, dude.
when he got down, I think he was down 5. And he only had like 2 swings left.
Were you mathing in your head?
I was sitting there going, wait, why is he still swinging? Because I'm sitting there going, it's over. He can't catch him. Like what? And then I remembered, right, that it can't end on him hitting a home run unless, it's a home run to beat him. So
can you imagine the pressure?
Exactly. And that's why I think that was so awesome. His performance, for him to be clutch, to hit those home runs in a row to win the whole thing, that was fantastic. I thought the environment was fantastic with Philly fan booing every time.
See, and you know how I feel. I did not like that.
I love that they booed when he hit a home run, and I love that they cheered when he didn't hit a home run, because that just added to the pressure for Jordan Walker. Like, he literally went in there and faced all of them. You're like the most hated person in the room, and he's just like, hold my beer, watch what I'm about to do. I love that they cut to his family, and his family was cheering. I loved all of that stuff. The worst part of that whole thing was the ending when they had his family and it cut out.
Okay, so here's the thing. That was going to be my final part. So it didn't cut out for everybody. It only cut out for some people. Yeah, some people, because first off, I took to Twitter just to see, like, is everybody else complaining about this? Because I was on FaceTime with my friend. We were watching it across town together, and it cut off, and I was able to get back in for a second, but it like played the same part over and over again, and then it would kick me out. And then I waited like 5 minutes and it let me back in, and they were already interviewing him on the couch. But I checked in with somebody else, somebody that I know who's in, I think, Illinois, and their feed never cut out. So it was only some of us. So when you finally did see some comments coming in across social media, not everybody's cut out. But that, like, it was such a mood killer, because it was like, I want to see what him and his family have to say. They were about to talk, and then Netflix was just like, the live programming has ended. Like, F you, Netflix.
Yeah, it cut out. So I went out and I went back in, and it took me to the very beginning of the program. And so that sucked. I wanted to see him with his family. I wanted to see what the family had to say about him. So that to me was the only thing. And again, this is coming from a person who is not a fan of the home run derby.
I am surprised. I am very surprised that you have this reaction because this is my favorite thing. Like I was excited. And that's I think why I had such a visceral reaction to Netflix cutting it at the end, where it was like, are you kidding me? Like you just won the contract. There's so many people that can't watch it. I think Bill Plunkett posted on social media before, like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like go borrow your friend's Netflix account. And people were like, you can't do that anymore. Like they're checking area codes, zip codes, whatever. And so like only the select few can watch it on Netflix if you have that. And then you cut it off for us? Like, come on.
And the other thing that I thought was great was he ended up winning more money than he's actually making throughout the year. So
I didn't hear any of that because it cut off.
So the prize for winning the home run derby is $1 million.
That's what I thought it was, and I was like, no, I have to be misremembering.
And his salary is $799,000.
Is he making league minimum?
He's making the league minimum, so he made more money winning the home run derby. Which, hey, for you young guys out there, you rookies, go ahead and enter it next year. You got a chance to make some money there.
That was the other thing. There was like, I think I saw foul territory. There were a lot of people who were upset about like the lineup of people that they weren't stars and that they thought, other people were not snubbing it, but like turning it down was kind of a snub to the home run derby. Honestly, I like this format. Like you've got some guys that there's some guys we've seen around. I think seeing these guys show what they've got like gives you more exposure to them. I know that Shohei's gonna pimp a home run. I know like when you have the guys in there, like that. I want to see what these guys can do. So for me, I liked that it was guys that you don't normally see around the league.
I think in a perfect world, you want a combination of your stars and then you want underdogs. And then you want the underdogs to do well. Right. That to me is in a perfect world. I think the home run derby, unfortunately, has entered a realm like the slam dunk contest in the NBA, where your stars don't want to participate in the slam dunk, don't want to do that. And look, I get it if you're a star, because there is still that myth, whether it's proved or not, that being in the home run derby can mess up your mechanics, it can mess up your swing. So I get it, but I think in a perfect world, you want the Kyle Schwarbers in there, you want the Bryce Harpers in there, but then you want somebody like Jordan Walker in there, and then you want him to get hot and do what he did there, where he took out whoever. Everyone on major.
That was the same with Teoscar. Nobody expected him to win 2 years ago. He's got a good swing. He can hit a lot of home runs. He's also been injured off and on. I don't think anybody expected him to win.
But I feel like Teoscar was more established than Jordan Walker.
Sure, 100%. But he wasn't fully like a Kyle Schwarber or like a Bryce Harper at that point.
Jordan Walker had his Rocky moment. That was his Rocky moment. That was like,
I knew that was going to happen.
I'm going to go. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
do you smell toast? You sound like you're having a stroke. Are you okay? Is it burnt toast?
So that to me, like, in a hindsight, it was the best part of those 2 days, because I was like, all right, the All-Star game, now the real, here comes the main event.
I felt bad for you. So real quick, before we segue, would you want to be the guy who hits first and you don't know how many like the other guy's going to get? Or do you want to hit second with the pressure of knowing like what, in this case, like Kyle Schwarber had hit?
I want to hit second.
Really? See, and I would want to hit first. I don't want that pressure. I just want to hit.
I totally recognize the fact that there is pressure. I do understand, and I think that's valid what you bring up. But that pressure. You know what I hate more than the pressure?
Not knowing.
I hate the feeling of getting walked off. So if I hit first, like what Kyle Schwarber had to do, sit there and watch this dude, and there's nothing you could do about it.
Well, see, and I feel like he felt like he had it in the bag too, up until that last point where it was like, then you saw everybody on that side, like, get quiet. But I feel like he thought with the 9, like he was in. Not saying he had like attitude or anything like that. Like he just felt good about it. And
I would definitely go
do you
second.
want to go? Oh man, I don't know because is that is not the clock because we're not using that this year, but as that pitch count is going down, much like in Jordan Walker's situation, like that is almost too much pressure of like, oh my god, well I'm in my head already. I've got to hit a home run to end it, and I've got to keep hitting home runs till I can beat. Like that would be too much for me.
I mean, that's what makes moments so great. I mean, that's what we remember of Game 6 and Game 7 of last year's World Series. The pressure that the Doyers were under, they're gonna lose. This is it. They had to win both of those games.
Almost inning by inning as we went, because it's like, oh my god, they're about to. Oh wait, they won. Okay, or they got through the inning.
And the moments we remember the most from that series were the plays that were made under pressure that saved their season. We're talking about the catch. We're
the ball at the wall, hands up.
Yeah, the Miguel Rojas play, the throw to the play. There's so many. I mean,
Will taking his foot off and putting it right back on.
The pressure that's what adds to it. So that's why, to me, this year the home run derby was more memorable than the All-Star game. And Amy, before I start on my rant about the All-Star game and the National League's performance, I have to give my flores to the American League, because the reason why the National League looked so bad was because the American League pitching was so good. Yep. So I'm giving
they
flores,
sat everybody down.
Yeah, I give my flores to the American League pitching. There's a reason why the National League looks so bad. But that being said, it was incredibly frustrating to see that the National League could just not muster any offense. And I'm a National League guy. You know, I'm always going to root for the National League in the All-Star games. So to see that that performance really left a sour taste in my mouth.
I mean, you win some, you lose some. The National League doesn't have the best record in the All-Star game. Like, I think they've only won like once or twice in the last however many years.
I mean, when I was growing up, it was the reverse. It was the National League was winning all the time. And now I'm like, is the National League ever going to win again?
They won last year.
Yeah, on a home run,
which was exciting.
That was exciting, but I would actually like them to win in a traditional baseball way once, instead of this getting their asses kicked every year.
Well, and to be fair, while who was it? Christopher Sanchez had a rough first inning. That's where they scored a majority of their runs. So they scored the 3 in the first inning, and then Miguel Vargas took, as everybody's saying, revenge on the Dodgers. And I'm like, he hit a home run, guys. Like,
I did. I love that moment. I love that moment for him.
I'm super happy for him, but he hit that home run in the 8th. They didn't score any other time in between there. So it's not like the American League was like, take this, oh, take that too. It's like, okay, they got us in the first inning and they add a little insult to injury in the 8th. But other than that, like, the pitching managed to hold them back. We just couldn't score. So we gave them the Yamamoto treatment.
Look, I love that moment for Miguel Vargas. I love that he hit it off of a Dodgers pitcher, because
who had an otherwise stellar.
Look, that was a perfect situation. Like, Robleski showed out. He got his 5 strikeouts
on his 26th birthday at that.
So yeah, he gave up the home run, but he still gave a great performance. He pitched 2 innings in an All-Star game. But for me, I was just really happy for Miguel Vargas, because how many times do you see the video of him after he got traded, sitting in the dugout in
that photo?
Yeah, being sad times that he's on the Medias Blancas, and to now have him be in an All-Star game, hits a home run in an All-Star game. He's getting an opportunity to show what he can do at the major league level. Hey man, former Dodgers showed out in the All-Star game, because who was the All-Star MVP? Former Dodger Cody Bellinger. And in his words, dude, all I did was hit a weak little single and I won the MVP.
Well, and I did like that he gave credit to the guys who got on base, because small ball, you know how much I love that. But Robleski, while he didn't win anything, like he also had his own stats. So he's one of 3. So Don Drysdale, Fernando Valenzuela, and Justin Robleski pitchers with 5 or more strikeouts in a single Midsummer Classic appearance. So that was the Dodger
There's
Insider.
there's one name you left out there.
I'm going off of what Dodger Insider posted. So.
Oh, because they're just saying Dodgers.
Correct. That's
Okay.
the stat. Yes.
So the last person to do 5 strikeouts
was Pedro Martinez, who gave him the nickname the
Exactly.
Shark. Yes.
I thought that was cool. I thought that was really cool.
And the fact that he struck out 5 people in the All-Star game, like how cool is that for your first time going? Like, it's pretty badass.
Yeah, because other than that, no other Dodger really did anything.
Freddie had a really good play at first base in the first inning. He did one of his like little got his foot back on the bag because he has those long legs.
How many hits did Muncy, Federico, and Pages get combined?
I'm not sure. Probably not a lot. Freeman walked.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer to that question is 0.
Yeah. So
Federico was the only one.
None of the other guys. Like
Federico was the only one to reach base. So really, all we have to talk about is Bluesky in terms of the Doyers representing in the All-Star game.
It doesn't mean that they didn't have some good defense out there. Like,
look, they had a good time. I mean, it seemed like they had fun on the red carpet. I mean, I know Max Muncy was happy about, getting to bring his family there. Federico had his whole family there, and then
the trolls came out. Like, I just like, if you don't have anything,
do you want to talk about these trolls?
No, I don't want to, because I don't want to give them more credence. But I will say, like, for the people who leave awful comments about people, like players and whatnot, players, their families, whatever, like, just keep that to yourself. If you have friends, go tell your friends. You don't need to put that stuff online. Like, it's trash.
They can't help themselves, Amy. They
can help themselves. We all have choices, and they should be accountable. Like, that's BS. I don't like when people say mean things to others. It's unnecessary. So that is going to be on my tombstone with small ball.
Anything else about the home run derby and the All-Star game?
Yes. So the earpiece falling out of Schwarber's ear. You know how much I love when players are mic'd up, and by love I mean hate. Like, the fact that I know, like, we had a lovable moment with Kershaw last year on the mound, and his interplay back and forth, but like miking up batters, and he's clearly having issues with the mic falling out while he's trying to like take his, like, what are we doing? It just, why?
For the All-Star game, I don't have a problem with it. I really don't, because it was actually kind of interesting.
But a batter who's like, he's trying to hit, and the thing is literally falling out of his ear. I think he actually dropped an F-bomb on the broadcast.
It's an exhibition game, because I thought it was really fascinating to hear Dylan Cease in that first inning, like, talking his process as to what he was going to throw these hitters. Like, I thought that was really cool to hear, and it's an exhibition game. Again,
yeah, but these are serious things. Junior Caminero left the game. He got hit by a pitch and his left pinky. Like, they're saying the X-rays were negative, but like, well, it's an exhibition game. Like, there's still a level of, I don't know.
Yeah,
if you gotta mic up the outfielders or something like that, fine, do the pitchers or whatever. But like, leave the batters and the catcher, leave them alone.
But Caminero getting hit, that's on the pitcher. That was on O'Brien. The pitch.
Sure, no, I'm just saying. You're saying it's an exhibition game. Like, I understand it doesn't matter in standings, but it's still a baseball game. There are still consequences for things that happen in the game. And to me, even if you have that, like, Pete Crow Armstrong was able to multitask and talk to them and listen and whatever. But like, if you're having a hard time, like, come on, like, it's just so unnecessary.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point in terms of talking to outfielders and maybe not talking to someone as they're hitting. One thing I totally forgot. So did you see the presentation when they gave Cody Bellinger the MVP at the end of?
No, I've only seen recordings because my television, my rabbit ears decided that it didn't want to work. And so I ended up having to like jaunt down over to Legends, and immediately when the game ended, they put music back on. And I was like, they haven't even presented the MVP. So I watched it after the fact where like his little girls were in on the press conference, but I didn't get to see the presentation.
So in the presentation, the award was presented to him by Mike Schmidt, a former, a Hall of Famer, former Philly, a legend in that organization. And all my life, I had a certain image of who Michael Jack Schmidt was. And so Michael Schmidt is now gray, and he didn't have his mustache. And it took me a long time to get that wrapped around my head. It's like that movie In and Out when Tom Selleck shaved his mustache in that movie, and you're just like, man, Tom Selleck looks weird without a mustache. You're Tom Selleck. You need to have a mustache. And that's kind of like how I felt when Michael Jack Schmidt was giving the award, where I'm like, all I could think of the whole time is like, why does Mike Schmidt not have a mustache? Like, what is going on here?
Your brain is a wondrous place.
It is. It's fascinating.
Did you see the Philly fanatic cheating during the presidential relay race in the break?
No, I missed that part. I did hear the Mr. and Mrs. Met getting booed.
What?
Yeah.
And she was in a ball gown earlier on the red carpet. I saw lots of people complimenting her on not having a prudish outfit like in years past. I was like, good for her. So you had Boys to Men singing, in between innings. And
by the way, I think they sounded bad. What did you think?
I'm not going to comment.
Okay.
They did their best. And then you had the little kids that rode onto the field that kind of did a Sandlot-esque type of thing with America the Beautiful in the background, which was kind of cool. And then you saw Mike Trout giving the kid batting tips while he was out there, which I thought was what a great moment for that kid. So,
all right, can we go back to that Sandlot moment?
Sure. Are you about to ruin it? Because if you are, we're moving on. I don't know.
Am I being a curmudgeon? Am I being old man?
Shouldn't have bikes on the field?
No.
Okay.
I recognized immediately what they were doing.
Okay.
I just felt that it felt forced. Like, I don't know if there was a way to pull that off to make it feel organic, but it really felt forced to me. And I was just like, oh man, this should be a much,
forced,
but I know
forced how? They're taking a break in the game.
Like it was manipulated. It was, and I get it because
what do you mean? Because 5 or 6 kids didn't randomly just break into a stadium on their bikes and ride onto the field in the middle of the All-Star game naturally. They had to script it.
I think it was because you saw players looking at each other in the dugout and go, "Do I go on the field now? Wait, now?
That's lack of communication on the coordinator's part. But at the same, that doesn't take you out of it. To me, that's I don't know.
I know a lot of people liked it. I know I wanted to like it. Really wanted to
take your director hat off for a second and just enjoy the moment.
But I was just like, oh. I wish this was more.
I wish these children had broken in and made their way onto the field naturally.
The kids gave the best performance, so I don't have a problem with anything the kids did, and the fireworks were great. It was just what really took me out of the moment was players going, "Do I go on the field now? When do I go interact with kids instead of naturally, hey, what's up, kid? Let's go play catch," and stuff like that. Okay, now comes the moment where I play catch with the kid. Okay, let me go ahead. That's what took me out of it.
Okay, yeah, I will. Yeah, curmudgeon. I'm gonna vote curmudgeon on that. I think the only other thing I have on this is I did love that once again they were wearing their actual jerseys, so not the. We're pretending to give you Players Weekend, but you don't really get Players Weekend jerseys. Here, buy this new
jersey. You're never going to let that go, are you?
No, I will never. No, I want Players Weekend back. Bring back Dick Mountain.
That's right. Chicken strip. Sam.
Yes, all of those things. So
La Mula. So those were all great nicknames. So anything else on the All-Star game?
No. I don't think so. I mean, you've already taken me out with the negative Sandlot experience. I'm just kidding.
Wow. All right.
I'm totally kidding.
So now I want you to be negative because we're going to talk. Next topic we're going to talk about.
Why do I have to be negative?
Because this is related to your feelings about women's headwear
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I had already jumped to the topic I thought you were going to be negative about. So
No.
I just think it's a teachable moment. So I had gone with I call them my not fuse. They're like my nephew age cousins. So we went to the baseball game on Friday night, and we finally got to check out the newer. It's not the newer store, but like it's the newer store that they now will heat press patches on your hats. So super cool. But they don't have a lot of choices for the ladies. So like the caveat is it's $10 a patch. You can get up to 2 patches heat pressed onto your hat, and you just have to buy a hat in the store. Great if you're a guy, like the whole store is built for you guys. If you don't like the brimmed hats like the 950s or whatever, the 940s, there's not really any of the dad hats there for us. So the ones that they did have had sparkles on them. I just wanted a basic dad hat with an LA on it like any other fan would want. And so what struck me as funny was my little not fuse were just like, well, why does it matter? Just like pick a hat. And I'm like, well, this is the style that I like. I ended up getting I got the Mexican flag, and then I got a little sugar skull on the side, which is cool. They have like, I don't know, about 20 different patches for you to choose from. So it was really cool, just that there's not a selection. So there's a whole back wall of hats, and they're like, oh, not the 47s for the ladies. You can't pick those. So we have like maybe 2 stands around the store. One is like whitewashed Jordache like hat material, but the rest are all sparkly. And so my cousins were like, but you love sparkles. Like you like sparkles on everything. Yes, but not as a baseball fan, because we already as women don't get treated equally. So it's like I don't want to have I just want the LA. And this is a conversation I've had with a lot of my gal friends, and that's why I wanted to bring it up on the show. Like we want what you guys have. Why can't you just make us an LA hat? You have them. They're in stock. Like you throw sparkles at us, and then that's also the sign for other people to not take us seriously as fans. I'm not saying the people who love the sparkles and like to wear them in the stadium, there's anything wrong with that, but for the rest of us who get gate kept out of the sport, it just sucks. I hate it. So that was my teachable moment to my little not fuse. And then the guys behind the counter, because we were having the conversation, I'm like, so where are the hats for the ladies? And my best friend had run into the same issue on opening day. There's no hats for us in there. Like, come on, we spend money. My money's good. You've never had to experience that though, have you?
Harumph. I have experienced it, but in a different. Not exactly. Look, all your point has been taken, and I support you on that. I'm not a fan of dad hats, but we should have more options for you ladies. I'm a big fan of my Playa Larga baseball dirtbag hat, and it has the white LB on it.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, they stopped making that, and I can't find it anywhere. And now they only have with the gold or yellow LB on it. But I like the white LB. And so I don't understand why they stopped making the white LB. The other thing is being a
imagine
fat
if you
man.
were in a store and all they had were dad hats, and you were like, come on, I just need at least one hat. Like, just make one hat for me.
Yeah, and then the other thing is being a fat man, it's hard to get like shirts. When I was in Chicago, there was a shirt that I was obsessing over. It was the Pope, and it was the picture of the Pope in the White Sox old logo from the 80s, with him swing there's a baseball hat, but unfortunately there was not chunky size. So I couldn't get the shirt. But I see your point. I do think it sucks. I think the sparkles is a very good point. I think that is a little they should have options without sparkles.
And like I said, don't get me wrong. I love sparkles. Half the time I won't wear those hats though, because as we've talked about on this show, I could be at the brewery keeping score, and some guy will lean over if he even deigns to talk sports with me, and it's like, oh, let me tell you about baseball. And it's like, bro, I'm literally keeping score right now. Like, I got this. Like, I don't need you to teach me anything. But it's those little things, those little nuances of like, I just want the cool, like, I've emailed baseballism for years. You guys have the cool 2 up, 2 down, like, or 3 up, 3 down, turn 2 or whatever, like the cool shirts. And we get the like, look, it's a Sunday in a Dodgers hat. And it's like, what? Give me that shirt, but just put it in a shirt that fits my body, because women's hips are not the same as men's hips. So if we buy your guys' shirts, we've either got really baggy shirts or like we just don't have stuff that fits us. Like, we're fans too. Just cater to us. We're here. You don't even, I get it. You might not even have like the people that order. Do a pre-order for us. I will wait for it, but I just want to have I want to have equity in this sport that doesn't involve sparkles all the time.
Harumph.
So yeah.
Well
again,
said.
teachable moment for my little cuzzos, so that they understand that we can love sparkles, but maybe not in baseball all the time. And then the guys behind the counter are like, hey guys, this is not the first time we've had this conversation. Where's our merchandise? Now we switch to your harumph.
Well, actually, you know what? We forgot one thing about the All-Star game, and I don't know if you want to talk about it. Since this episode is about bitching.
Whoa. I did not know that was what this episode was about, but carry on.
Do you want to talk about how there were some pitchers that were unhappy about not being asked to, or not being selected for the All-Star game, and then declining invitations to the All-Star game?
That's actually how Robleski got there, because Burns got injured and Wheeler declined based on, his feelings about it. And so that's how a spot opened for Robleski. I mean, I get it. I understand that they have this rule, but like, we didn't, if I'm not mistaken, we didn't see Yama pitch, but he still got to go. Did I'm just checking my notes here. I don't think he pitched at all. So no, I don't understand why, if you want these players to still be there to participate, etc., like why wouldn't you have the fan favorites there? And I get that, like, there's the rule, like if you pitch on Saturday or Sunday, like you can't participate, but like that feels disingenuous to some of the guys who might have earned it. So I mean, I can get where they're coming from.
You know what? I can't say that I disagree with Wheeler. Because I feel I don't like, I say this about my wife when we first started dating.
Be careful.
I was like, don't give me a pity date. I don't want a pity date. And I don't like the feeling of someone taking pity on me. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if I would go as far as what Wheeler said as being disrespected, but it does feel like, look, if I'm not your first choice, then I don't want to go, And Wheeler, I think, clearly felt like he deserved to be on that All-Star game, and not be a second thought or a last resort. So I kind of see where Wheeler's coming from on that. But again, I don't know if I would go as far as to say it was disrespectful. But, because one of those things is this. Robleski is an all-star. He's going to get to say the all-star. He's an all-star. But there's going to be some jerk who one day is going to say to Robleski, you're only an all-star because so many people got hurt. So that's one thing that I hate about the process. You're either an all-star or you're not, kind of like the Hall of Fame. But I understand, this is what the All-Star game has evolved to, but I will say, I don't disagree with Wheeler.
Yeah. Well, and even him saying, like, basically what you just said, like, it's a nice feather in your cap. It's something that's nice to have on your, not only just your resume, but you see it on their player pages. Like, if you go to Baseball Reference, you're going to see that this is a 1-time or a 2-time or a 7-time All-Star. And so, like, I can definitely see where he's coming from. Like, it's frustrating. So,
But not only that, though, Amie, is, some players have incentives that if they get to the All-Star game, you're going to get some money. So I don't know if Wheeler has that in his contract. If he did, it's like, hey, dude, you're turning down money on principle, or maybe he doesn't have it
Or
in
maybe
his contract.
it's just that important to him. Because I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of factors that I think need to be looked into this process. So even when we saw the initial first like round of guys come in, and it's like people are upset because so and so has better stats than this person. Okay, but it's a fan vote. I'm not saying they're not justified to feel that way. Like that's where I think maybe we need to look at this process a little bit closer going forward. Do you want to continue to have a fan vote, or do you find another way to get a representative from every team? And do you base it off of stats? Is that the best way to go? I don't know, but it sounds like there have been issues the last couple of years, so maybe that process does need to get looked into.
Anything else on the All-Star game?
I don't think so.
So next topic is this actually came to me as a surprise, Amie.
I don't know why you're constantly surprised by this.
In the beginning of the year, when the Dodgers were in DC to play the Nacionales, everyone assumed that that's when the Dodgers were going to go to the White House, and then it turned out that there literally was a scheduling conflict, and there was no way that they could go to the White House. So I actually thought, all right, that's it. It's over. They're not going to go to the White House. Now, even back then, they had hinted at this. They said, well, maybe after the All-Star break, when we go to New York, there might be an opportunity. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. The Dodgers announced that they are going to go visit the White House. And look, I know what people are expecting my response to be. This is probably when some people are going to stop listening to the show.
Oh yeah, if this is the stuff you don't care about, we'll see you next week. We totally understand why you're turning it off.
But I'm going to be honest with you, Amie. I'm just like, I don't know that there's anything new that I can say about this. I feel the same way now that I felt last year. So they're going to the White House because they want to go to the White House. The only thing that really sticks a craw in I mean, there's many things, but this whole thing of them saying that this is not political, I think is just, it's wrong. It's factually wrong.
For some people, it's not political.
But the actual White House is a political symbol.
100%.
The presidency is a political office. So to say that it is not political is wrong. It is political because you're visiting a political office. The White House is a political symbol. So that's what I can't stand that they use it, that they sit there and they say, well, this is not political, this is tradition. Okay, yeah, whatever. Just say you guys want to go. What is wrong with them saying they want to go to the White House?
So there's a couple of things there. So like I would say, and this is not directed at you, this is in general, like be careful when you assume it's the whole org, because there are plenty of people who work there that have differing views. And in some cases, people can't opt out for whatever reason. So like I think that's something that we need to be sensitive to. To me, like go, don't go. It's not that I don't care, but I have the same issue that you do, but also almost on the opposite side too. Like I have an issue with people condemning folks who are against them going. Like there's a lot of people that are like, anybody who thinks that they shouldn't be going, like there's something wrong with how you guys are thinking. And to me, like, you want to say that it's not political, well, don't force us on the side to be that it's okay. Like I'm not okay with it. Like you're not, whatever. I just think that for the people who say it's not political and that this isn't directed at the team, I think this is in general, and this is a conversation you and I had. I think people who have never been oppressed or don't at least empathize with what's going on in the world, I don't think they will understand. As we know, this administration has been oppressive to so many people for so many reasons. And if somebody has the privilege to not understand what that means or feels like, then that's a growing moment for them, whether they take advantage of it or not. But like, to me, it's, you can't just say that without realizing that there is an impact on some of this stuff. I mean, there is, to me, there's just a certain level of privilege that's involved with being able to make that statement with what's going on in the world.
And I'm glad you made a distinction there, because when I'm saying they want to go, what I'm talking about is the ownership of the Doyers, because the ownership could make it very easy and say to the team, "It's up to you guys. If you guys want to go, then go. If you guys don't want to go, don't. We're not going to make this a priority." And that being said, Geeke came out real quick and said he's not going. Mookie has said that they're not going. Now, they have not given their reasons as to why they're not going. They're just not going.
Kike's
So,
on the IL and Mookie's spending time with his family.
so when I say they want to go, in particular, I'm speaking of ownership. Ownership want, because they show up when they visit the White House. It's not just the players and it's not just the staff. The owners are there when they visit the White House. So that's why I say they want to go ahead and go. In the end, I know a few of you listeners have reached out to me and said, Juan, and I know Bill Plaschke wrote an article about this, and Bill Plaschke got a lot of heat for this article that he wrote. But Bill Plaschke said it feels tone deaf for them to go to the White House, and a lot of that has to do with the timing of it, because of what's happened in the last week. I know
let's be careful here, though.
But look, I don't know how it's not. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by being careful, because these are literal facts.
They are, but this is also a baseball podcast, and I do want to respect some of the people who listen to it for that. Like, if we want to get into total social justice, then we need to start a separate podcast for that. Like, I'm okay addressing some of this on here, but I think there is a fine line where,
Yes, but the reason why people feel it's tone deaf, and again, Geeke has not spoken about this, but Geeke was the only Dodger player that spoke out against the raids. But when you have, in the last 7 days, you've had 2 deaths at the hands of ice, and just yesterday, or actually just today, you have the president of the United States saying, no, we need to continue these vehicle stops after ICE had said that they were going to stop them. That's, I think, what the tone deafness that Bill Plaschke is talking about and that other people are talking about. Just after you just made strides by divesting from the GEO group, it now brings up this ugly reminder again that this Dodger ownership group, the Guggenheim, is invested in Plantier, which is a program that was involved in these incidents that just happened in this past week. So I am the same way that you're talking about being sensitive. Look, if you guys want to go ahead and go to the White House, by all means, go to the White House. We're not going to be able to stop you. But those people who are not choosing, especially in that organization, that are choosing not to go, they have their reasons. They haven't voiced them. But there are people out there that equate this team and just don't. They're getting mixed signals. I will leave it at that.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate situation all the way around for the people who maybe don't want to go but are having to go. Like I said, there's a lot behind the scenes, but there are also people who, like I said, I kind of just stand by what I said in the beginning. Like, let's be careful that when we assume that it's the whole organization, because we know plenty of people who work behind the scenes, not even just people going, but have different views on this stuff. And so sometimes when people look at the Dodgers as a whole, like, you're forgetting all the people who are vendors or clean the stadium or, greet you or take your ticket. Like, not everybody believes just one way because they work in this organization. And I think that's something that's important for us to remember.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I was surprised, Amie, because I really thought we had put this topic behind us. And for the Dodgers to do this, it has just reopened a wound. Because I'm telling you, if you look at that comment section under Plaschke's article, I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that not only support this, and it's for different reasons. They want the Dodgers to go to the, but you also, like when you had said earlier about some of the comments that were made about some of the All-Star players on the red carpet. There were comments like that that were made under Plashke's article that it's like guys like Plashke and Dylan Hernandez. I know they do this for a living, and I think part of their they've learned is that they got to take the bad with the good, and so.
Or you just don't look at the comment section and just know that there are going to be trolls out there. I do it to myself every time when I accidentally saw the one on the red carpet where people were just destroying somebody, and it was just like I didn't even mean to. I hit the wrong button on my screen, and the comments opened up, and it was like, oh, I really wish I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, I mean, in the long run, Amie, this is not them visiting the White House does not impact anybody's life, right? It's like, okay, they're gonna go take a photo and all that stuff, but I do see
the
how
optics are not great.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I think we both agree on that. We disagree on how we should talk about it on this show, because I think some of this stuff, while we do, it is something that's good to bring up, put visibility on it. I think also some of these things, these are conversations you have with your friends and people in your close circles too. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be in full depth on this show.
Let's do a palate cleanser so we don't end with a sour taste in our mouth.
So I don't know. Did you see that? Obviously, Dino Ebel, we know he is our third base coach. His oldest son, Brady, was drafted into the Brewers last year. But did you see the draft when Trey got drafted? And yes, it was great when it was on the screen. But did you see the video that Brady had posted?
No.
So he was on the field with he's in like one of the minor league affiliates, and he's out. They're doing all their drills on the field, but they have on the big screen, they have the draft going on. And so as they see that Trey just got drafted to the Brewers with his brother, like you saw the range of emotions, the excitement. I think by the end he was cheering up a little bit, but it was so heartwarming. His brother is going to be in the same organization as him. You know, Dino Ebel was probably feeling it. He was, working at the stadium. So, but it was just really cool. If you haven't seen the video, look it up. It's Brady Ebel, like just getting the news that his brother was drafted to his team.
I mean, how great is it in back-to-back seasons? Dino Ebel's sons are first-round draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's I don't know if you heard the story also. So Bryce Harper asked Dino Ebel to pitch to him in the home run derby. Now, I don't know if it was because of this connection, but in the past, Dino Ebel had asked Bryce Harper if he would take a picture with his kids.
What?
And Bryce Harper did that. So I don't know if a relationship was born out of that, and that's the reason why Bryce Harper then asked Dino to pitch for him. But how great for those kids. They grew up with the major leaguers, the access that they had to major leaguers. I don't know what the influence Bryce Harper may have had on those kids, but those kids are like, oh, can I meet Bryce Harper? They get to take a picture with Bryce Harper, and now for them to get drafted and actually go into a major league system, it is a great story.
That grabbed them both up. And Dino Ebel, so they had caught up with them. Masaya Katani had posted that Dino said, I'm a Dodgers guy, I told my sons, if you want to go to the World Series, you got to beat the Dodgers. They both burst out laughing. So yeah, I'm a Dodgers guy. So just, Dino just keeping it Dino.
That's right. Okay, so the Dodgers will start the second half of the season against the Yankees of Nueva York in Nueva York. Amie, do you want to make any wild predictions for the second half?
I had not gotten that far. I mean, I think they're going to do good.
All right. That's really
I think they'll do well.
That's all you really need to know.
Why? What wild predictions do you have up your sleeve?
I don't know that I have predictions. I'm just curious to see what happens with the rotation in terms of injuries. I know we're going to be getting very close to the mind-numbing trade talk in the next couple of weeks.
Just tell me what the result is. Tell me who they get.
But I'm very curious to see what the Dodgers do, because I do think there are a lot of question marks, like in terms of Will Smith's health, Blake Snell coming back. Right before the All-Star break, Edwin Diaz was doing a rehab assignment in the minor league, so it looks like he will be ready in the second half. Tyler Glasnow, what the situation is. Will the Dodgers make a move for a starting pitcher? Will the Dodgers make a move for a backup catcher? And that's really so that's really, I think, what I'm most curious are what moves they make to fortify themselves for the playoff stretch run. So
see, and I'll be more excited after they've made the move, so I don't have to listen to the mind numbing. He's going here. No, wait, he's going there. No, we got him. No, you got it. Like, just tell me afterwards, and then we can game plan.
Watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. So that's going to do it for this episode. Any last words, Amie?
No, I think you took all my words. We used them on this episode. I'm out.
All right. So for those of you that have been listening to the podcast on the audio version, please make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, rate us, write us a review, help spread the word about the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit that notification button, leave us your comments. We love engaging with you. And most importantly, make sure you're following us on social media on X at BB Shangri-La, on Instagram, YouTube, Bluesky, at Baseball Shangri-La. She is Amie Cuevas. I am Juan Ramirez. Nos despedimos con un beso. Amie, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.